Yu-Gi-Oh, Pokemon, Magic the Gathering has all reprinted or going to reprint some stuff for an anniversary. Who did it right? Let's talk about it. Those of you that are unaware, Pokemon had their 25th anniversary recently, not too long ago. They had the 25th anniversary set celebrations where they reprinted a bunch of old school cards. This was done very tastefully. It was essentially just a reproduction of a bunch of older cards: Charizard, Blastoise, Venusaur, Gold Star, Umbreon, just to name a few. But they're basically reprinted with a fancy stamp, a different hollow pattern from what was done before, at a very reasonable price. You could get ETBs of this set, and it was very reasonably done. This, in my opinion, had zero effect on those vintage cards. If anything, it might have propped them up just a little bit, because people then who are opening these new cards open their eyes to be like, hey, I remember this. Let me go check out some of the older stuff. It pretty much just raised awareness for some of the vintage cards. And it marginal at best. It increased it. But for sure, 100%, the release of Celebrations had zero effect on the price of the vintage base set, first edition, or shadowless. That is just what it is. That was very tastefully done. Then Magic the Gathering, they're doing their 30th anniversary set. One of their products was not so well received. It was $1,000 compared to the Pokemon ETB. The entry point at one point was $40. That has gone up. But look at it. It's literally $1,000. It's directed towards collectors. I get it. It's maybe you could have did something different, maybe like a platinum Black Lotus or something like that that was premium price. But when you sell it in the card form, it should be, in my opinion, for the people playing and the collectors, like a mashup, not just for collectors, even though that's where it is, because it's $1,000 effing. So that was not the best attempt at the anniversary release. Like I said, doing something like that Yu-Gi-Oh does or Pokemon has done in the past. They've had a gold-plated Pikachu or something like that that is a premium price. Anything that is generally released in a card format from Yu-Gi-Oh and Pokemon historically has been reasonably priced. You could buy it off of a Walmart shelf. This is something, the 30th anniversary, you'll never see in a Walmart shelf, maybe on Amazon, but that's a whole nother story. But talking about now, Yu-Gi-Oh, they are going into their 25th anniversary set. I respect the hell out of them. They are coming in similar to what Pokemon did. They're reprinting actual sets, though. So they're going to reprint and give you actual packs from the olden days. Whether or not they have a stamp on them, I doubt it. But the card will be different in some format. Like there's new card, like actual stock of the card is different. The text will probably be shifted differently because sizes have changed. The Anubis symbol is going to be different probably in the bottom right. There's going to be things different about the card, noticeable by PSA and CGC for if people want to grade these things. But Yu-Gi-Oh is special because you can play cards from the inception of the game. There is no set rotation like Magic and Pokemon. So it only makes sense for them to keep printing these cards until they begin a set rotation. Even though there's like almost nothing played out of these sets, there still is. Like Yatagarasu is now legal. It came out of Legacy of Darkness. They just reprinted it in an extreme rarity. Like cards like that and different things are still playable. Like they at any moment could make a spell card that just turns on all these terrible vanilla monsters that just says, when you summon this, it's in God mode. Or so, they could literally do that. They've done that with other stuff. So it could turn those things back on. But they are going to, on top of their standard like legendary collection box where you can get the red eyes, blue eyes, dark magician, those that's going to be cool. I feel like they do it every year, some version of that, but it's going to be cool. That comes with all these vintage packs. But in addition to that, this is the crazy part. Something Magic will never do because people would riot in the streets for years on end. Pokemon, I couldn't ever imagine them doing this, primarily because of the set rotation thing. Once it rotates out, it's pretty much toast. There are vintage formats. There's a gym trainer challenge and stuff like that, kind of like Commander, but for Pokemon. But yeah, so Yu-Gi-Oh is releasing actual booster boxes of vintage cards, unlimited versions of vintage cards. So Legend of Blue Eyes, Spell Ruler, Pharaoh Servant, probably Dark Crisis because it is one of the packs in there. Those are being reprinted in an unlimited format, and those will be very interesting to see if they have some type of stamp on them to differentiate from the older ones. This I don't think at all, like I mentioned for the Pokemon reprint, will not affect the vintage pricing of cards. Unlimited, get wrecked. Just because unlimited pricing on all those things are already obliterated, pun intended. It's literally destroyed. Like, compared to the first edition versions of those in the earlier sets, those are the only things right now even worth looking at, in my opinion. So, obviously, the Unlimited is there for a more cheap option, of course. That's great. This is even better. So, if you're chasing LOB Unlimited from 2002, stop now. Just stop. Just buy a freaking booster box of this reprint that's about to happen, because that's going to be freaking awesome. Being able to buy a booster, like, I am excited. Like, and again, I think this will help out some of the more vintage stuff. Like, wow, this is a great feeling ripping all these stuff. Let me go look at some of the prices of some of the older stuff. I'd love to have my original Blue Eyes or something like that. Then you go down the rabbit hole. It's only going to be good things. And Yu-Gi-Oh! Has reprinted since the beginning of effing time. So this is not anything new. It is new in the sense that this is the first time they're going to be reprinting these as booster boxes, it seems. I don't really give a crap. I play the game a little bit here casually, but I'm excited for it as a collector, as a player. Let's give the kids this experience, because that's kind of what we're missing in Yu-Gi-Oh! Is the generational concept of the game. We're not reintroducing kids. Like, let's bring out some of these vintage sets so the kids can read and understand what the effing card does. It says draw 2 cards. That's simple. It says destroy all your opponent's monsters. That's simple. Destroy all your opponent's spell and trap cards. That's simple. Like, just bring it down to the basics. Maybe have like a vintage format where only X sets are legal or something like that, which we have kind of in the Time Wizard format, but there's a ban list. So I'm really curious to see how this develops. I definitely will be buying some of them just to get the feel of opening some of these old school packs, since it hasn't been done by me in a long time. So that'll be cool. But I really think Yu-Gi-Oh! And Pokemon definitely did it right. Magic the Gathering, like I said, I wasn't a big fan of such the big price tag. Even if it's just for collectors, it's not what it should be all about. There should be, I don't know, give the option to have people, like, who cares? It's a Black Lotus, so you're going to put $1,000 effing price tag on it. Whoop-de-effing do. It's 2022 Black Lotus. Chill out. Let the price dictate itself. Don't just be setting $1,000 price tags on cardboard. It wasn't platinum. It wasn't a gold Black Lotus. It's effing cardboard. The profit margin was actually insane. How much money they made on those for however many they sold. Who knows? But yeah, I definitely think and love the way they've done it. Like I said, I'm a fan. A lot of people probably aren't. They probably think it's going to affect the prices of the vintage. It won't, I assure you. Just like how the dual lands are not going to probably affect the price at all of the vintage ones. It is in its own niche. They're completely separate from each other. Let me know what you think. Have a good one. Peace.